Folks, I don't know if you felt that earthquake over the weekend, but the big boy of Wall Street, the evil empire, Blackstone, has made a significant bet on American single family homes. This is the second time they have come. They got actually out of single family homes when they spun off Invitation Homes, but they have come back in a big way with a $3.5 billion acquisition of 10 Core. Let's talk to the one and only Taylor from Life Goal Investments, who spent 10 years on Wall Street, and ask why the heck is Blackstone or other private equity getting into single family homes? What's the deal, man? What's going on?
Yeah, so let's draw a line of delineation because everybody is confused because the names are so similar. BlackRock
Yeah,
is the massive asset manager. And granted, they have some real estate exposure, but that's not their game. Blackstone is almost exclusively focused on real estate. So let's draw that line of delineation right out of
totally
the
agree.
gates here. So we are talking about Blackstone here, who is the real estate titan on Wall Street. They are the ones that,
Creme de la creme.
essentially, yeah, they exploded in assets over the past, call it 10 to 15 years, as they just made their mark. And you had massive, massive desire for folks to get real estate exposure, both public and private, via Blackstone. And they were the massive
Is
beneficiary.
there are there is hit are the is the head of real estate at Black, is it Jonathan Gray? Is that who it is?
I don't know the answer. I don't think that's if you said the
The
CEO's name,
CEO
I would
is Schwartzman.
Schwartzman.
Schwartzman's
Yeah,
the
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Jonathan Gray. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah, so I just want to draw that line of delineation there. But yes, you have had a massive explosion in assets over the past 10 to 15 years that Blackstone has taken in. And then Blackstone has to, as an asset manager, when they take assets in, they have to go out and deploy them. And
Yeah.
so they have been deploying them as they should, because they said they were going to, in real estate. And now they have become a massive player in the commercial real estate space.
Yeah.
But they also, to your point, have now bled over and become more focused on the residential single multifamily houses as well.
Yeah, so Jonathan Gray is the name. He's kind of the chief real estate guy or whatever you want to
Gotcha.
call that. I first bumped into Jonathan Gray, not bumped into physically, but heard of him.
You assaulted him?
Yeah, he assaulted me with all his bodyguards. Anyways, actually, when he did that deal with Sam Zell, right? Remember when Sam Zell sold real estate at the peak? Blackstone were the buyers, right? Blackstone bought it. Jonathan Gray did that deal. But you know what was really interesting? When you so first off, you say that, and we know Sam Zell sold at the peak. We know
Right.
that.
Right.
So usually when that happens, the loser is the buyer.
Correct.
But what Jonathan Gray and Blackstone did, which was frankly genius, is they pre-sold assets from Sam, making back something like 60% of the purchase price. So, and they were left with like 80% of the assets. So they sold a couple of trophies, and it made the deal look amazing. It was like, God, that's like playing 3D chess right there. That was pretty smart.
That is financial manipulation is not the right word. That's just manipulating, or not manipulating, but moving around the
That's
financial
executing.
pieces.
Yeah,
That's exactly what that is.
that's
And to your
playing
point,
Monopoly in real life, man.
to your point though, like usually, like you're saying there, when people are buying things at the peak, at the peak, obviously that's a bad transaction. This one didn't go that way. But the reality is, when folks, one of the things that happens on Wall Street that goes unaccounted for is when things are successful in the rearview mirror, they take in a ton of capital. And that's not to say that all of a sudden there are good opportunities on the other side to deploy that capital. So
Yeah.
this happens time and time again. An asset class runs. Wall Street gets flooded with money in that space that they say, we're going to deploy this in that space for you. And you want the returns that just came. And now they're out buying things at spreads that are so compressed that the returns can't be experienced there. That's why playing rearview mirror investor is not a good way to invest.
Yeah. So let's talk about Blackstone, because again, this is their second go around of single family, in my opinion. I believe they were the leader when Warren Buffett was on CNBC, I think in 2010. I think it was Becky Quick asked him, would you ever buy single family homes? And this is when single family was at the bottom. And Warren Buffett, my memory says, basically said, if I could find a way to manage them, I'd buy every single family home I could in America.
Right. Right.
That was basically Warren Buffett saying, I'm too lazy, I'm too set in my needs. And that was like a shot across the bow to every real estate person on Wall Street going, holy shit, everything's on sale. I don't know what we're going to do. Let's figure it out.
Get to work, baby. That's where you start licking your chops, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting because you look at it from like a broad standpoint, and these Wall Street firms have taken a ton of pressure in the press, and the fact that like institutional buyers are now swiping these houses out from underneath the average American. And it's true, don't get me wrong, but the institutional buyer base right now owns like 2% of the overall single family homes in the United States. So as much pressure as they've gotten, and rightfully so, because they are buying them when they would be bought by your average American to begin with, it is a little bit overblown.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. And I remember buying in Fresno, California. I had a process every week to write offers at 18% discounts because that's where they said yes. And below that, they said no, or above that, they said no. And suddenly no inventory showed up. Wall Street was buying what they called the tape. Basically, a tape, in my opinion, was an Excel file with all the properties that were coming.
Yep.
And they bought the entire thing at list price.
Interesting.
The world changed.
You're buying an 18% discount, and people are saying yes, and they come in and buy them at list.
At list. And they bought everything. They weren't picky. They just bought the entire tape. And so that's one thing that I saw that was very different. I really do think they were like, we're going to just buy because we have capital and we'll figure it out. So they were buying hand over fist, everything. Obviously, they bought a bunch of crap. They also bought a bunch of good stuff. I think if I referred to Blackstone as private equity, would that be right? They're private equity hedge fund,
part of what they are private equity. Yeah, no doubt.
So I actually think private equity in 2024 housing, single family homes, is very different than private equity 2010.
Yeah, no. Well, cap rates are meaningfully different.
Well, yeah. So, but I actually think private equity has a buy box, what I would call a buy box. Back in 10,
you're taking a different approach. I understand where you're going. Go ahead.
Right. So they bought everything, and they we'll deal with the aftermath after.
Sure.
Today they're being a lot more selective. They're buying in certain cities. I think Atlanta has the most concentration, with Charlotte and Dallas. These are from Resi Club. Shout out Lance Lambert and team there, highlighting where 10 Core owns all their stuff. I think it was 8,000 units in Atlanta, 6,000 in Charlotte, 4,000.
The Sun Belt is what they call it. Yeah,
exactly. But what's important today is they have a buy box. They don't buy what's not in it. Also, what's very important, what I'm seeing lately, is they're changing one of their buy box criteria. I think they are skewing new versus 40 years old.
Gotcha.
And when you skew new, I actually think they're going to be doing a lot more what's called build for rent, which is an entirely different model. So I'm not sure, if Blackstone comes at this and goes, we're going to build for rent communities, that's really not taking away units from mom and dad, right?
Fair.
It's, hey, we got $100 million. We bought 20 acres. We're going to slap up, 200 homes.
Yep.
So, I think the game is changing because I think they've realized that being a landlord to 50-year-old homes is hard and expensive.
Right. And it's a one-on-one thing. And probably when you look back to 2010, to the point of the real estate market had just absolutely crashed, they were just speed to the market. We don't care if we're getting a perfect deal on this. Even fair market price right now is super, super cheap. And so now they have to be more discerning. It's funny. We own a portfolio inside a lot of our clients. We own a fund inside a lot of our client portfolios, and it has the ability to own both real estate debt or real estate equity. Now it's focused on commercial because that's, a bigger bucket and easier to buy. But when you look at commercial real estate cap rates right now, weighted average cap rate is 6% in the US. So that's, if you're purchasing, you're kind of thinking about future returns, 6-ish%. That's what cap rate.
And sorry to interrupt, but I got to know this. Do you know what the average or whatever blended cap rate would have been 2021? Would it have been 4.5 or something?
2021. So I have the data back to the beginning of 2022 when it's been
All right.
basically a
How
flat
about,
line. So it
oh,
was
okay.
in the beginning of 2022. It was better. It was better, not meaningfully. It was like 5.4. Or I'm sorry, it was lower. I'm sorry. So which is not better. You want it to be
Yeah.
higher. It was
You
like
want it to be
five
higher.
four in the
Yeah.
beginning of
Okay.
2022, and it's leaked up to it's about 6%. But
Yeah.
the point of this is that is the buy side. So that is
Right.
okay. We're taking the equity risk in this. On
Mhm.
the bond side, which is obviously a lower level of risk because it's higher on the cap structure, as you're lending to real estate builders and buyers, you can lend right now at a 9.33% yield,
Mm.
9.3% yield. So
Wow.
buying at a 6% cap rate, which is a higher level of risk, versus lending to real estate buyers and builders at 9.3%. It's an underwater market is what you refer to that as. That should be flipped. And
Right.
what the fund manager that we utilize that's incredibly well versed in this space is they say, listen, cap rates on real estate need to re-rack higher. On commercial,
Oh, no
need to re-rack
question.
higher.
Yeah. And of course, if you take cap rates higher, that means values are down, and then you got to do all these refis, and you have your value below debt, and trouble happens.
Yeah, and the reason why the value is there right now is because of what happened in the regional bank system. So you saw Silicon Valley Bank blow up. The reason they blew up is because they didn't have liquidity. And so the federal
Exactly.
government steps in and says, regional banks, you idiots, you need to have more cash on hand. And so they look at their book of business and they go, okay, regional banks own 35% of outstanding commercial real estate loans. They get puked back
Yeah.
into the market, and whoever's on the other side there is going, you're a forced buyer or you're a forced seller. I'll
For
take this
that.
from you. Not an 8% yield. I'll take it at a 12% yield. Let's go.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of discounting on debt and equity, a lot of extend and pretend. There's a lot of regional banks that are frankly illiquid today.
Extend and pretend.
Yeah. Extend and pretend. There's a lot of, but there's a lot of opportunity, right?
There
Folks on
certainly
my
is.
channel, yeah, know that we've been setting the pace, getting ready. We're helping people get educated. I think the opportunity for me, right? I'm not trying to buy a 200 unit or 500 unit building. I want to buy a 5 to 40. It's too small for the big boys,
Yep.
but it's certainly an area where I look to play for the exact same reasons.
But
And
but but what do you have to do? You gotta
I got
you
to
gotta
do the
do
work, baby,
you gotta do the work.
every day. Dude, it is comical to me. I'm gonna repeat what I did in '06. I'm going to sell houses at peak prices. I'm going to 1031 into distressed apartments. And again, the beauty about these apartments is you have distressed buildings, which is what I bought in 10, 11, 12. They were destroyed, blah, blah, blah. There's distressed sellers, and then there's distressed debt. Today, it's the debt that's bad.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
tell me, do you and this is for your people that watch your show all the time.
sure.
I apologize. But you just have your group of like, okay, I'm gonna buy this distressed. I have this group of contractors that I know do a great job that are incredibly efficient. I've used them 14 times at this point. This
Mhm.
boom bang, I have everything in line. So I buy this property. We can most efficiently turn it around from a time and money perspective. You're all ready to
Yeah,
rock.
I'm ready to rock and roll. But so that was the 2010, 11, 12, 13 model.
Yep.
I actually am trying to communicate that I think this model is going to be different. I don't think the building will be distressed.
The debt you're saying, okay.
I think it's the debt that's bad. So I
Right.
like let's just play it out. And somebody had a 20 unit building, 50K a door. It's $1 million. Bought it in 2021 or 2020 at a 4 cap rate.
Yep.
Today it's a 7 cap, which means the value is, I don't know, 600 grand or 650. The debt, when you buy it at a million and you put 30% equity, your debt is 700. We'll
Yep.
forget mortgage pay down and all of that nonsense. But now the value is 650.
Yep.
So that owner, if they're going to go back and get a refi, it's got to bring, I don't know, $200,000, right? To do a cash in refi. Most don't have that. So they're going to sell it. They're going to be like, oh, I'm out. I'm going to take a haircut. So are they. I happen to have this beautiful single family home that is below the median that I have 80% equity in.
Yep.
I could sell that, move all my equity over to this building, which is
1031.
performing.
Yep.
Now this, whatever it is, 650, I whacked 300 grand off the debt. Yeah, my rate's 8%, but I've got, I have 300 grand debt on what used to be $1 million property. And I
Right.
just wait. I just wait it out. That's what
Yep.
I'm doing. I think it's debt, man. I don't think it's gonna be the building.
Yeah, it's just you're a sniper. Like, like you are. Like you do the work, so you know exactly. I mean, it's just the I think the easy money is just not there anymore. The easy money to be made in real estate that looked so, just go out and grab anything. That's just not there
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
it's not there. This is not the time to do that was 2010.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could not go wrong.
Yeah. And even
Um,
if you bought in 2018, like you hit
yeah,
the COVID
you're fine.
wave. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, good for you. Boom.
got lucky. Yeah. No, the next couple again, I'm on record saying the next 3 or 4 years is gonna be just flat, but that doesn't mean there's no opportunity. Go find a
Right.
distressed building, a distressed seller, or distressed debt. Play Monopoly. That's all I'm
Yep.
doing.
Yep. Do the work. No doubt.
Taylor, where can people find you?
Yeah, thanks so much. Find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on both Instagram and TikTok, daily 60-second videos.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much.